For any modern-day Cindy Lou Who or Little Prince trying to make sense of who actually pulls the levers of power in the world, there is a strange modern parable you need to see. Look at this image. A tiny orange-haired flea clutches a campaign button, standing behind a political podium on the back of a massive golden retriever. The context driving this artifact is an argument over the economy. A former president takes to social media to claim direct, singular credit for a grocery chain slashing prices across 300 summer items. The accompanying satire offers a sharp critique of that claim. The government drops pebbles into a vast pond of supply chains, labor costs, and global tariffs, and those pebbles create waves. Influence exists. Absolute control does not. Claiming you single-handedly forced a national market to discount its eggs is like a flea demanding applause for the path a retriever decides to walk. This artifact lives inside a digital dossier compiled in July 2026, a dense collage of social media posts, AI generations, and conversational logs. An artificial intelligence rendered the central image of the flea. Checking the generation logs, the prompt was a single, misspelled fragment. Image of orange-haired flea. From that scrap, the machine supplied the entire satirical staging autonomously. Nobody explicitly requested a 2026 podium, a campaign badge, or a dog. We have a punchline that landed perfectly, but a missing comedian. If a machine hallucinates the context that makes the joke work, we have to figure out who actually wrote it. The human who typed the prompt, taking on the persona of a trickster coyote in the logs, mounts a specific defense. He insists he bears zero responsibility for the political framing of the image. He relies on a concept he calls the woodpecker pattern. He argues he simply took his digital camera into the woods, pointed it at an interesting subject, and hit the shutter. The algorithm did the heavy lifting. Because the generative model independently arranged the podium and signage, the prompter actively washes his hands of the narrative weight embedded in the final output. He views himself as a passive bystander. The AI created the art, he just happened to be there to catch it. As the document progresses, the AI models analyzing the text point out a massive blind spot in that logic. They notice exactly what the human is trying to hide. The prompter didn't just ask for an insect. He deployed the phrase orange-haired inside a thread discussing Donald Trump and inflation. He fed the system a highly specific, loaded noun. The chat logs expose the dynamic. The human planted a conceptual trap. The generative model, trained on millions of political memes and contextual associations, was perfectly primed to spring it. The prompter ends up caught in a strange loop of his own making. By insisting he had no hand in steering the machine's output, he mimics the exact behavior he set out to critique. He wrote a poem mocking a politician for claiming too much credit over a massive system, while actively denying his own responsibility for steering a loaded algorithm. This hypocrisy playing out in a single internet log mirrors a massive legal crisis currently moving through the courtrooms of 2026. Rulings in cases like Thaler versus Perlmutter established a strict baseline in copyright law. Autonomous AI outputs lack a human author. The raw pixels generated by a machine belong to the public domain. Prompters push back against this standard by arguing their specific text inputs act as robust creative direction. They insist the intent makes the art theirs. This legal and intellectual friction centers on the concept of distributed authorship. It argues that no single agent owns the final artifact. A human loads the intent. An AI model builds the staging, and the training data supplies the cultural tropes. The myth of the lone genius willing a masterpiece into existence is fading, right alongside the myth of a lone executive manually dialing down the cost of groceries. The strange tale of the flea clarifies how this landscape actually functions. Human intent provides the initial momentum, but it can no longer dictate the precise outcome. Complex, interconnected networks, whether they are trillion-dollar economies or generative neural nets, will consistently return emergent behaviors you never explicitly asked for. Loaded prompt, emergent frame, distributed credit. You throw the pebble. The system makes the wave. And going forward, We all have to share the pond.